Second of all, the goal of the meditation is going to be different for each one of us. So we're going to kind of start now. So just kind of situate yourself so that you're comfortable, in a comfortable seat really. And that could be sitting on the floor cross-legged or sitting on the floor lotus style, sitting in a chair maybe laying out on your couch, or maybe laying on the floor. So let's just all take a moment to just get comfortable and grounded in whatever our seat is. Okay. So now that we're all kind of grounded, let's start by just gently closing our eyes and setting an intention for today's meditation practice. This intention can be whatever you need it to be. Maybe it's a little more peace in your life. Maybe it's a little more time. Maybe it's centering yourself. Maybe it can be whatever. My intention, and I think Patrick's intention as well for today's practice, will be to help us all find a Mishkan, or a holy place within ourselves, through our meditation practice. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go. So we're going to seal our intentions now with a chant of the Shema. So if you're familiar with the Kirtan Rabbi Shema chant, that's what we'll be doing. So I'll kind of start. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu.
Shema
Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu.
Okay, so next we're going to, if you have your eyes closed, keep your eyes closed, or if you don't have them closed, close your eyes now, if that's comfortable. And we're all going to close our eyes, maybe put a hand over our eyes to kind of block out the light. And we're going to start, and we're going to do a body scan. So we're going to start, and we're going to envision feeling the very top of our head, and just letting that relax and melt down. And then moving down and envisioning our forehead and that skin between the eyes, and letting that relax. And then allowing the eyes to relax, and the eyelids, and that skin below the eyes. And then allowing the mouth to relax, maybe wiggling out the jaw, allowing the jaw to relax. That's where many of us hold a lot of tension. And then moving down and feeling through our neck and our throat, and allowing that to relax. Continuing down the body and feeling our shoulders, and maybe rolling our shoulders up at first, up towards our ears, and then letting them drop and rolling them back, and allowing them to just relax down in a natural position. And then feeling our arms, and maybe letting our arms come out to the side of us and shaking them out, and allowing them to just relax and be easy and be wherever they are. And then moving down through the chest and the lungs, just allowing ourselves to breathe easy, uncontrolled, feeling the breath as it comes into our lungs. And then moving down through the abdomen, and feeling relaxation there. And finally moving down into the legs, to the top of our legs, and maybe using our hands to just kind of rub a little bit, bringing a little bit of warmth and relaxation, and then moving down and feeling through the lower halves of our legs, maybe allowing them to swing if you're on a chair. Just let them fall. And finally feeling through the feet and the toes, and just feeling them drop down and relax onto the floor or wherever they are. And then just being here in this moment. So from here, we're going to do a little bit of a breathing exercise. So try to sit up wherever you are, kind of as tall as you can. And then at any point, if this makes you feel not good or dizzy, just let it go and breathe normally. But we're going to do what's called a 3-part breath. So controlling the breath also often has a relaxing effect on the body. So that's why this is done in many meditation practices. So we'll start and we'll begin to inhale, and we'll feel the inhale and the breath coming through our nose, and then feel the upper part of our chest begin to expand. And then as the breath moves down, feeling the middle part of our abdomen start to expand. And then it'll move down finally into the belly, and the belly expands big at the fullest part of the inhale. And then on the exhale, you're going to allow that to come back up so that you feel that the belly will begin to contract, and the abdomen will begin to contract, and then the chest will contract, and the breath will come out. And so you just imagine the breath coming in and moving down, and then on the exhale, the breath coming out, moving up through us and out. So we'll all work on that 3-part breaths for a few moments. And you might notice as you engage in this breathing exercise more that your inhales will begin to expand. And as your inhales begin to expand, try to notice how long your exhales are, and try to get your exhales to be just as long as your inhales, which is called same breath or samavata breathing. So we're all going to blink our eyes open, maybe slowly, if there's a lot of light in your place, and then let go of the breathing and just begin to breathe normally again. So we'll just take a few minutes to kind of equalize there. All right. So the next thing, we're going to do a little more chanting, and then Patrick's going to talk a little bit more about our intention for the meditation practice today. So we're going to do the Hallelu chant, which some of you may be familiar with. It's a pretty common chant, and it has its roots in Sufism, actually, which is the it's the
mystical practices
mystical practices of Islam.
Yay, interfaith class.
I lose my words sometimes. So, all right. So you may be familiar. Patrick's going to join in with me, and so you can join in, or you can just watch and be there.
So are we doing this together, or is this call and response?
This will be more call and response.
Okay.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. 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 Kol hashema te hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol hashema te hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol hashema te hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Kol hashema te hallelujah.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah, hallelujah. Okay.
Thank you. So my turn?
Yes, your turn.
Cool. So again, welcome everyone to OneShul. If this is your first time here, my name is Patrick Olive. I'm the student rabbi and executive director of OneShul. We are a pluralistic online synagogue. Now, what does that mean? So while many synagogues belong to a movement of some kind, whether they're Orthodox or Reform or Conservative, we are unaffiliated. So most Jews are unaffiliated, and so we are an unaffiliated synagogue. We're a synagogue that serves all different types of Jewish perspectives, so at any time you may be experiencing a very renewal type of event, and then maybe another time there will be an Orthodox minyan. It really depends on the event and who is leading. We're always looking for people who are interested in bringing their flavor of Judaism to the community. So if you have a particular area of Jewish interest, whether it's a type of praying style or music or a class you'd like to teach, we always have opportunities available. And if you're interested, you can email me, patrick@punktorah.org. That's patrick@punktorah.org, and I would love to speak with you about those opportunities. There's no experience necessary, and you don't need tons of fancy technology to do it either. So when Stephanie was talking about setting our intentions, one of the things that I've been thinking a lot about is the Mishkan. So in this week's Torah portion, Terumah, we learn about the sacrifices. We learn about the Mishkan, which is the tabernacle, the sacrifices that would have taken place there. And the Torah portion goes into all the details of how the Mishkan was built, all of the different elements that were inside it, so on and so forth. Now, that seems very foreign to us today. We don't have a Mishkan. And certainly, if we look at our synagogues, they do often reflect that spirit. So, as an example, you'll have a Ner Tamid, you'll have an eternal light. That's something that is carried over from the Mishkan. We have the Aron HaKodesh, so we have the Ark that initially would have had the Ten Commandments in them. Instead, today we use the Torah, so if you go to a synagogue, you'll have a bima or a stage, and you'll have the Ark somewhere in there. Sometimes it's a sort of closet-looking thing. Sometimes it's an looks like one of those wardrobes that you would keep your clothes in, whatever the case may be. So these are things that we've architecturally carried over. Now, in last week's Torah portion, something interesting happens, and it really connects to this week's Torah portion and to the idea of Jewish meditation. So in the previous Torah portion, Mishpatim, Moses does something very unusual. A sacrifice is offered. So again, this is before the Mishkan is built. A sacrifice is offered to God, and he takes the blood of the sacrifice. Let's remember that in Judaism, blood is considered sacred. And he takes the blood and he puts it on the altar. Now, that's something that would have happened in the Mishkan or any other kind of altar. But he does something really strange, which is he takes the remaining blood that doesn't go on the altar and he puts it on the children of Israel. And he says that this is a sign of covenant. Now, that's sort of a gross, strange thing, and people don't really like to talk about the idea of blood on us. That seems so kind of weird. But it's important to remember that in Judaism, blood is not shed in vain. We have mitzvot, we have rules that tell us not to commit murder. There are ideas behind when warfare is just and when it is not. The most sacred ritual act that we have is circumcision, which is a form of bloodletting. And so it's important to know that blood was never thrown out in vain. And so the fact that God commanded Moses to take this blood and to put it on us as a sign of covenant is truly a miraculous thing. What it says is that we are as holy as the Mishkan is. So just as blood of a sacrifice was put on a Mishkan, so too is it put on us. It shows how holy we must be. Each one of us, therefore, is the Mishkan. Each one of us is the temple. You, where you are, who you are right now, for as many flaws and frailties as every person has, is the temple. You are a walking symbol of God's holiness on earth. The Mishkan was where God dwelled. It was God's dwelling place, and you are God's dwelling place. So I want to take a moment to look at this. This is an image of the Mishkan. Of course, this was a photograph taken of the Mishkan. But you can see the little priest guy, and you can see the curtain. So he's out in sort of the courtyard. And this is a cutaway. You can see the inside of the Mishkan. And he would have walked through the purple and crimson curtain. And he would have walked in, and you can see the menorah that's sitting there. He would have had the lit menorah. On the right-hand side would have been the showbread. And then in front you would have had a basin. Now, if you open up the other curtain, you are inside the Holy of Holies. So this is what we have today turned into our ark. So I want you to imagine what this is. I want you to imagine yourself as being the Mishkan, because you are. That's what the Torah tells us. You are the Mishkan. And to think about all of the layers that you have. So, as an example, we have the eternal light. So what is the eternal light that is inside you, and what lights it? What keeps that light going? We have the showbread, which is a form of offering. So what are you offering to the world? We have these basins, and we have these sacrificial altars. So how do we cleanse ourselves? And then what are we willing to sacrifice for the greater good? And then when we go deep in the heart of the Mishkan and deep in the heart of ourselves, we reach the Holy of Holies. We reach the most sacred place where God literally sits. And for us, that's the human heart. God sits inside the human heart. God sits inside your heart. So one practice that I think is great is to imagine this Mishkan as being like a mandala or a map. It's a way to guide us back into the Holy of Holies, which is something that is inside each of us. Now, Stephanie, you'll lead us out with some more.
I think, I think first we're going to do a little bit more guided meditation.
Okay, great.
And then we'll end with some chanting.
Okay, great.
So just kind of bouncing off of Patrick's talk, let's all just close our eyes again. I find it's useful to close our eyes sometimes. And let's just kind of meditate a little bit and just kind of, allow thoughts to just come and go. You're not going to be able to get rid of them completely, but just allow thoughts that pop up about things you need to do later just to float away. And let's not dwell on them. And then let's begin to see if we can find the holiness that dwells within each of us, the Mishkan that Patrick talked about. So maybe it's a little bit of warmth in our center. It may be useful here to take your right hand and place it over your heart. And just kind of visualize whatever that Mishkan within you is. Just kind of visualize that. And to end our meditation practice tonight, we're going to do a little chanting. You can keep your eyes closed if you'd like to, or you can blink them back open. And we're going to go back and we're going to chant the Shema that we've chanted earlier, and we'll do it for a little bit longer with a few variations. So you can join in at any time. I'll do it kind of call and response with Patrick here. Shema Israel Adonai Eloheinu.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu.
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 Shema Israel Yah Eloheinu.
Shema Yisrael Yah Eloheinu.
Shema Israel Yah Eloheinu.
Shema Yisrael Yah Eloheinu.
Shema Israel Adonai Eloheinu.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu.
Shema Israel Adonai Eloheinu.
Shema
Israel
Yisrael
Adonai Eloheinu. Shema Israel Shechina Eloheinu.
Shema Yisrael
Shechina Eloheinu. Shema Israel Shechina Eloheinu. Shema Israel Shechina Eloheinu. Shema Israel Adonai Eloheinu.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu.
Shema Yisrael Gevurah Eloheinu.
Shema Yisrael
Gevurah Eloheinu. Shema Yisrael Gevurah Eloheinu.
Shema Yisrael Gevurah Eloheinu.
Shema Yisrael Adonai 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 Eloheinu.
Shema
Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu.
Shema Yisrael
Adonai Eloheinu. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai Echad. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much for coming. Again, we're always looking for volunteers, people who are interested in bringing their own flavor of Judaism to this community. If you are watching this video after it's been recorded live, please come to our live events. They're really terrific. There's lots of opportunities to connect with really great people. And additionally, we have lots of other great resources. We have a Yahrzeit wall, so if you are mourning the loss of a loved one, we have a free Yahrzeit wall, and we will post a memorial plaque for your loved one. We have a prayer request wall, so if you are in need of spiritual healing, you can post an anonymous prayer request, and we will put that up, and our community can pray for you. We also have lots of terrific articles and videos and archived classes, so if you can't make it to a live event, there's all kinds of different resources available for you. Again, if you want to reach me directly, you can email me, patrick@punktorah.org. Again, that's patrick@punktorah.org. And I would be happy to answer any questions that you have. Last but not least, we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We do rely on donations in order to support this community. If you have enjoyed participating in this class, whether it's live or in our archive, we suggest a $5 donation. You can go on our website, OneShul.org, and there are several obnoxious blue buttons that say donate on them. You can click there and you can use any type of debit or credit card. We know that not everyone is able to donate financially, so please donate your time. We're always looking for volunteers who can help with graphic design, with website work, podcasting, writing articles. There's lots of ways to get involved. So thank you very much. We're going to sit around in the chat room for a little while. We won't be broadcasting, but we're happy to answer any questions that you may have. Again, thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you actually in about 2.5, maybe 3 hours. I'm not quite sure what time she's starting at, but Ketzira, who is one of our leaders, is going to be doing a Rosh Chodesh service. Let me actually pull up what time that is. I think it's at 7. Yep, 7 o'clock. So in 2.5 hours, you're going to get to see another leader in our community as she leads the Rosh Chodesh service. So stick around. You won't want to miss it. Thanks again.
You're a strong one.